This Christmas was supposed to be special. It was my first one with my wife's family since we got married 3 years ago. I wanted everything to be perfect. I bought her the gift she had been talking about for months. I even made her favorite breakfast from scratch. As a big surprise, I flew her brother home from across the country. I thought it would make her happy. I really believed this day would be full of love and good memories. We all sat around the tree, passing around presents and laughing. It felt like a happy, warm moment. Then, out of nowhere, my wife stood up and handed me a folder. I didn't understand what was going on at first. I thought maybe it was part of a surprise or a joke, but when I opened it, my heart dropped. It was divorce papers. I didn't even have time to say a word before her mum clapped her hands and shouted, "Finally!" The whole room followed, cheering and smiling, like they had been waiting for this moment. I sat there frozen, still holding the folder, trying to understand what had just happened. I looked at their faces and realized they weren't surprised. They were excited. That's when something inside me clicked. This wasn't just a sudden decision. This had been planned. For how long I didn't know, but it was clear that everyone in the room knew about it, except me. I felt humiliated, confused, and broken all at once. I had done everything to make this day special, and instead, I got served papers like a joke. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there, heart pounding, as the people I thought were my family celebrated the end of my marriage. I knew I couldn't trust any of them. Something was very wrong, and I had no idea how deep it went. But one thing was clear. They were hiding something, and I was going to find out. After everything that happened in the living room, I walked away quietly and locked myself in the guest room. My heart was heavy, and my mind couldn't stop racing. I sat on the bed, trying to breathe, trying to stay calm. Then I saw something. Her iPad was on the nightstand, plugged in and charging. I stared at it for a few seconds, unsure what to do. Part of me wanted to walk away, but I needed answers. I picked it up and pressed the home button. No password. It opened right away. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I started going through the messages. That's when I saw a group chat. It had her family's names, but I wasn't part of it. The name of the group was Xmas Plan, and when I opened it, my hands started to shake. The messages were all about me. They had been planning this whole thing for weeks. There were jokes about how I'd react, about how funny it would be. Her brother even wrote, "Let's film his face when he sees the papers." They were treating it like a game, like some kind of prank. I couldn't believe what I was reading. These were the people I tried so hard to impress. I thought they were my family too. But the worst part came when I saw a photo someone had sent. It was a picture of my wife. She was kissing someone. My chest tightened when I realized who it was. It was my best friend. The same guy who always said he had my back. The one who stood next to me on my wedding day. They were holding each other like they had no shame. Like they didn't care who saw. I kept scrolling, hoping it wasn't what it looked like, but it only got worse. They laughed at me, called me names, talked about how clueless I was. It felt like I was in some kind of nightmare. Everything started to make sense now. The sudden cold looks, the inside jokes I wasn't part of, the way her family treated me like I was a burden. They had all been in on it, every single one of them. I put the iPad down slowly and sat there in silence. I couldn't move. I couldn't think straight. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just betrayal. This was planned cruelty. They had hurt me on purpose, together, as if I meant nothing. And in that quiet room, I promised myself one thing. I wasn't going to let them win. As I sat there staring at the iPad, I kept going through the messages and pictures. I couldn't stop. I needed to see everything. That's when I found even more proof. The man in the photo, my wife's secret boyfriend, wasn't just anyone. It was Tom, my best friend for over 10 years, the one I trusted with everything, the one who gave a speech at my wedding. I never imagined he could do something like this. There were more photos of them together, not just that one kiss. I found one where they were sitting by the fireplace at my family's cabin. That cabin meant a lot to me. It was passed down from my grandfather, and I had only given the spare key to one person, Tom. I told him it was for emergencies, or if he needed a break. I never thought he'd take my wife there. They looked so comfortable in the pictures, like they had been going there for a while. The messages between them were worse than the photos. They laughed about me, called me blind and stupid. Tom even wrote, "He really thinks we're just friends, LOL. My wife replied with something even colder. "I can't wait to finally get rid of him." They were planning a future together, making plans as if I didn't even exist, like I was just some problem they needed to get rid of. What made everything even more disgusting was seeing how her parents supported it. They weren't shocked or angry. They were cheering it on. Her dad said, "She deserves better. Glad she's finally upgrading." Her mum laughed and said, "Tom fits in so much better with us anyway." They treated me like I was just a mistake she had to fix. I felt sick reading those words. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the device. My head hurt, and everything in the room seemed to blur. But while my body was falling apart, my mind was doing something else. It was starting to focus. I couldn't change what they did to me, but I could choose what I would do next. I wouldn't cry in front of them. I wouldn't scream. That's what they wanted. They thought I was clueless. They thought I would just go away quietly, but they didn't know me as well as they thought. I was hurt, yes, broken, maybe, but I still had control over one thing, my next move, and I wasn't going to waste it. I didn't say a word to anyone. I acted calm, even managed a small smile, and told them I needed a few days to clear my head. They seemed to believe it. No one stopped me when I packed a small bag and left the house. But inside, I wasn't running away. I was getting ready. That night I stayed at a hotel. As soon as I closed the door behind me, I opened my laptop and got to work. I had taken the iPad with me. I knew time was short, so I backed up everything. Every message, every picture, every single piece of proof. I saved it all in multiple places, including a secure drive and a backup folder on the cloud. I didn't want to take any risks. I also logged into our shared laptop. We had used it for years, and I remembered she often forgot to sign out of her accounts. I was right. I found more messages, more photos, even shared documents they had edited together. It was like they didn't even try to hide it. I copied everything. Once I had all the digital proof, I called Rachel, my old friend from college who had become a lawyer. I didn't explain anything in detail. I just said, "Emergency." She didn't ask questions. She knew it was serious and told me exactly what to do. Her first advice was to stay calm and keep everything quiet. No fights, no threats, no sudden moves. She also told me to start collecting and organizing any important financial papers. I began gathering bank statements, insurance policies, business files, and anything else tied to our accounts. Most of it was under my control anyway, so I had easy access. But I took care to move carefully. I didn't want my wife to suspect anything. What she didn't know was that long before our marriage, I had set up things to protect myself. Some of my assets were in a trust. The house was under my name alone. Even the car she drove was leased through my business. I never brought it up before because I believed we were a team. But clearly, she never thought the same. By the time the sun came up, I had everything I needed. Proof of betrayal, a backup of all messages, and control over the financial side of things. I still felt pain, but it was mixed with something else now. Clarity. I had been caught off guard, but I wasn't going to stay down. They wanted a show. I was going to give them one, quietly, carefully, and in my own way. Long before I met her, I'd already worked hard to build something for myself. I had savings, investments, and a small business starting to grow. When we got serious, I spoke to a financial advisor and made sure to protect my assets. I created a trust fund and placed most of my important business shares and property under it. It wasn't because I expected things to go wrong. It was just a step to be safe. I never mentioned it much, and she never asked. She thought everything was ours, split right down the middle. Money was never a problem between us, at least not on the surface. I paid the bills, handled the taxes, and managed our accounts. She liked to spend, and I didn't stop her. I never argued about the credit card bills or the things she bought. She took that silence as a sign that I didn't care. What she didn't realize was that I knew exactly how everything was set up. When she filed for divorce, she did it with a smile. She was confident, even bold. From what I could see, she really believed she was walking away with half of everything. She talked about moving into a new place, getting a new car, even traveling for a while. Her confidence told me one thing. She had no idea what the truth was. The house we lived in, I had bought it before we got married, and it was never added to joint property. Her name wasn't on the deed. The car she drove, that was part of my company's lease program. Technically, it belonged to the business. The engagement ring I gave her, paid through a credit line I kept separate from our shared finances. It wasn't tied to her in any legal way. I didn't say anything. I let her believe the story in her head, that she'd leave with half my money, maybe even more. I acted calm, let her feel like she was in control, but I knew something she didn't. Everything was going to hit her all at once. She had planned to embarrass me on Christmas, to walk away with a smile on her face and money in her hands. What she didn't see coming was the truth waiting in court. I didn't need revenge through words or anger. The best kind would come through facts and silence. Let her laugh now. The real surprise was still ahead. The day of the court hearing arrived, and she walked in like she had already won. Her head was high, and she wore a proud smile. Tom was right beside her, and her family followed close, acting like this was some kind of celebration. They whispered to each other and laughed quietly, as if everything was going exactly how they had planned. I sat calmly next to my lawyer. I didn't show any emotion. I had already done everything I needed to do. Now, I just had to wait and let the truth speak for itself. When the judge entered and the hearing began, things changed quickly. At first, she still looked confident, but then the judge started reading the financial reports. The trust, the house, the business accounts, and the car details were all explained clearly. Her smile began to fade. She looked confused at first, like she didn't understand what was being said. Then came the look of panic. Her eyes went wide, and she kept glancing toward her lawyer. It was clear that she had believed everything would be simple, but now it wasn't. Then my lawyer stood up. She calmly presented the backup messages, the screenshots, and the photos. She explained how my wife and her family had planned the surprise on Christmas. She showed the messages where they laughed at me. The judge listened closely, saying nothing, but I could see in his face that he didn't like what he was hearing. The part about the affair made everything worse for her. Tom, sitting beside her, looked uncomfortable now. The judge asked a few short questions and then looked directly at her. The room was silent. The final decision was short but powerful. She was not getting the house. She was not getting any support payments. And because of the proof of her cheating, she was blocked from most of the financial claims she had expected. Her plan had completely fallen apart. She didn't speak. Her family looked stunned. Even Tom looked like he wanted to leave. It was like they had never imagined things could turn against them. But the law didn't care about fake smiles or loud celebrations. I stood up quietly, thanked my lawyer, and walked out. There were no cheers or clapping this time, just silence. The same people who had once laughed at me now had nothing to say. That was the moment I knew I had already won. After the court case ended, I still felt like something was missing. What they did to me wasn't just legal, it was personal, cruel, and meant to humiliate me in front of everyone. I didn't yell or fight back during the whole process. But now I wanted people to know the truth, not for pity, but because lies shouldn't be protected. I had saved all the messages, photos, and group chat screenshots. I made sure none of them had my name on them. Then I posted everything online, anonymously. I shared it in a few Reddit threads and forums where stories like this usually get attention. I also posted some on Facebook and TikTok using a new account. Within a day, people started sharing them. By the second day, it had gone viral. Everyone who read it was shocked. Thousands of comments poured in, calling out the cruelty and betrayal. Strangers couldn't believe how a whole family planned such a thing. Some people said it felt like a movie. Others said they had been through something similar, but no one supported her side. Soon, people started connecting the dots. Someone recognized the mum's name from her small business account. Someone else pointed out a post from the dad's business page. It didn't take long before reviews started dropping. Customers left angry comments and bad ratings. The business's reputation was falling apart. They tried to respond, saying it was fake, but the screenshots were too detailed to ignore. My ex-wife tried to clean up the mess on social media. She posted long messages trying to explain her side. She said people didn't know the full story. But every time she spoke, commenters replied with the screenshots. People reminded her of what was said in her own words. Every attempt to save her image only made things worse. Tom didn't say much publicly, but I heard through a mutual friend that his fiancée found out. Yes, he had a fiancée the whole time he was cheating with my wife. She packed her things and left him the day after the screenshots came out. He didn't just lose a relationship, he lost his reputation, and friends too. I never mentioned my name, and I didn't have to. The truth spread on its own. No yelling, no fighting, just quiet exposure. They wanted everyone to laugh at me. Instead, the whole world saw who they really were, and none of them were laughing anymore. After everything that happened, I focused on healing. I didn't try to rush into anything new. I took time to be alone, to think, and to understand what I truly wanted from life and from the people around me. I stopped trusting easily, but I didn't close myself off completely. Slowly, I started going back to work with a clear mind. My energy was different. I wasn't angry anymore. I was simply free. At work, I met someone new. She wasn't loud or flashy. She was calm, respectful, and real. We started with simple conversations, nothing serious. I wasn't looking for a relationship. but spending time with her felt easy. No games, no pressure. She listened, she cared, she made me feel seen, not judged or used. Over the next few months, we got closer. We shared meals, stories, and quiet moments that felt honest. I never had to hide anything from her. She knew my past, and instead of turning away, she stayed. She didn't treat me like a victim or a broken man, just someone who had been through a lot and was still standing strong. That meant everything to me. 6 months after meeting her, I proposed. It wasn't planned or fancy. It was just a real moment between two people who respected each other. She said yes, without hesitation. We both wanted something peaceful, kind, and lasting. We didn't announce it online. No big posts, no hashtags. Just a few close friends and family knew. And that's how I liked it. I invited a handful of mutual friends to the wedding. Not to show off, but I knew they still talked to people from my old life. I didn't say anything directly. I just let the news spread on its own. And of course, it reached my ex-wife. She texted me. Just one word. Congratulations. I saw the message, but I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. That part of my life was done. A few days later, someone sent me a screenshot of her Facebook post. It said, "Some people change so fast," with a sad face at the end. I smiled when I saw it. Not because I wanted her to feel bad, but because I knew I didn't. I wasn't hurt anymore. I wasn't stuck in the past. I had moved on, and she knew it. The best kind of revenge wasn't destroying her life. It was building mine better. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone. I found peace, love, and a future that felt right. And that, more than anything else, was the quiet victory I had waited for. Time passed, and I kept living my life, quietly and peacefully. I stayed away from drama, didn't look back, and just focused on what made me feel whole again. While I was building something new and good, their world slowly started falling apart. Not because I did anything, but because lies and fake smiles never last. I heard from someone that her dad's business was in big trouble. At first, he tried to act like nothing was wrong, still posting as if everything was fine. But little by little, clients started leaving, reviews kept dropping, and money stopped coming in. Eventually, he had to shut the doors. The business went bankrupt. All the years he had spent building it up were gone. People in their town started whispering. No one forgot the screenshots or what they saw online. Her mum, who used to act like she was better than everyone, ended up getting a part-time job at a retail store. I don't say that to mock her. Work is work. But for someone who once looked down on others, it was a big change. She kept her head low and avoided talking much. Her pride was gone, and people treated her differently. As for her brother, the same one who laughed about filming me on Christmas, things turned around for him too. He was caught cheating on his girlfriend, and believe it or not, he used the same iPad he had once used to plan my humiliation. His girlfriend found the old group chat messages and some new ones he had written to other women. She left him right away and shared the proof online. The internet didn't go easy on him. He lost respect, friends, and whatever little good image he had left. Their whole family, once so proud and loud, went quiet. No more happy photos, no more big updates. Just silence and awkward posts that barely got likes. People remembered. They weren't the victims. They were the ones who planned a public betrayal, and it finally caught up with them. Meanwhile, my life was moving forward. I got promoted at work. I bought a new house in a peaceful neighborhood. My days were calm, my nights quiet, and I finally had space to breathe. That year, I had a Christmas that felt real. No fake laughter, no secrets. Just peace, good food, and people who truly cared. That's when it hit me. I had let go. I wasn't thinking about revenge anymore. I didn't need their pain to feel better. Watching their lives fall apart on their own was enough. I had survived the worst day of my life and come out stronger. Now every time I look around my new home or sit with the woman I love, I remember how far I've come. They tried to break me, but they only set me free. Revenge doesn't have to be loud, angry, or cruel. The best kind of revenge is living well, staying calm, and letting the truth speak for itself. When people hurt you, don't rush to hurt them back. Just step away, protect yourself, and focus on becoming stronger. In time, their lies fall apart, and your peace becomes your victory. Let karma do the work. Stay quiet, stay smart, and let success be your answer. Do you think I made the right choice by staying silent and letting karma handle it, or should I have confronted them all on Christmas Day? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. And if you enjoy true stories filled with betrayal, revenge, and unexpected twists, Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment.